Hello, dear viewers and friends. Welcome back to our channel, where we share stories, lessons, and seek healing together on the turbulent paths of life. Have you ever looked back and wished you had done things differently? As we age, the choices we make throughout our lives can either help us build a fulfilling, meaningful life or slowly chip away at our happiness and well-being. There's an undeniable truth. Some mistakes may seem small and insignificant at first, but over time, they can accumulate and lead to serious consequences, resulting in unwanted loneliness, persistent financial difficulties, and even health problems that could have been entirely avoided if we had recognized them sooner. In our conversation today, we will delve deep into the 5 biggest mistakes people often make in old age, mistakes that can silently undermine their lives, sometimes without them even realizing it. Some of these might surprise you because they often happen so gradually, creeping into daily habits, that people don't recognize the harm they're causing until it's too late. They're like small cracks in a dam, initially negligible, but gradually widening and eventually capable of causing disaster. But the good news is, once you recognize these negative patterns, you gain the power to make better decisions, avoid unnecessary regrets, and truly take control of your future. Recognition isn't about judging the past. It's about illuminating the path ahead. Stay with us until the end, because this isn't just about avoiding mistakes. It's about ensuring that your later years are filled with joy, purpose, and good health. We will thoroughly analyze what these 5 mistakes are, why they happen so commonly, and most importantly, how you can proactively steer clear of them to build a better, more meaningful life for yourself. So, if you want to make sure you're not unintentionally holding yourself back on the journey ahead, you definitely won't want to miss what's coming. Now, let's begin. The first mistake, and perhaps the most common and detrimental, is neglecting physical health. This is a mistake that often begins very subtly, almost imperceptibly. Maybe it's skipping a morning walk because it's a bit cold, or choosing convenient fast food over a nutritious home-cooked meal because you feel a bit tired. These small choices, repeated over and over, accumulate into a heavy burden over time. As mobility starts to decrease and energy levels drop, many people resign themselves to accepting it as a natural part of the aging process. They tell themselves, "I'm old now, getting weaker is normal." But the reality is quite different. Much of the functional decline that occurs later in life isn't solely due to age. It's a direct result of prolonged inactivity, poor nutrition, and ignoring the early warning signs of health problems. If you've ever felt stiff after sitting for too long, or noticed that your balance isn't what it used to be, that's not something you should ignore. That's your body trying to tell you something. Movement is essential, no matter your age. The use it or lose it principle is particularly true for our bodies as we get older. The less you move, the harder it becomes to stay active. And soon enough, simple tasks like getting up from a chair, walking upstairs, or even reaching for something on a high shelf become challenging. Weakened muscles don't just reduce strength. They lead to poor balance, significantly increasing the risk of falls, one of the greatest dangers for older adults. Just one fall can lead to serious injuries requiring months of recovery, or in some cases, completely alter your quality of life, robbing you of the independence you cherish. Consider the case of Henry, 74. He considered himself fairly healthy, but he gradually started skipping his daily walks. A few months later, he noticed that standing for long periods felt more tiring, and his knees began to ache. By the time he decided to get back into exercise, he had lost a significant amount of strength, and even short walks left him winded. It took him months to rebuild what he had lost, and he often wished he had never let himself slow down in the first place. Henry's story is a powerful reminder of the cost of procrastination and complacency regarding health. Another common issue in neglecting health is underestimating the importance of diet. Many seniors assume that because they eat less than they used to, they don't need to focus much on nutrition. But this is a dangerous misconception. As the body ages, it actually requires more of certain nutrients to maintain optimal function. Protein to maintain muscle mass against sarcopenia, calcium and vitamin D to support bone health and prevent osteoporosis, fiber to aid digestion and prevent constipation, a common issue in older adults. Regularly eating processed foods, skipping meals, or relying solely on quick snacks can lead to serious nutritional deficiencies. This not only makes you feel sluggish and weakens your immune system, but also contributes to or worsens chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Diet isn't just fuel, it's the foundation of overall health. Ignoring regular health checkups is another mistake with potentially serious consequences. Many people tend to avoid seeing a doctor unless they feel something is seriously wrong. But preventive medicine is key. Regular screening appointments can detect potential health problems early, even before they manifest clear symptoms, at a time when treatment is often much easier and more effective. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, and even early signs of osteoporosis often don't have obvious symptoms. So, by the time you notice something is wrong, damage may have already occurred. Proactively monitoring your health means taking preventive action, not just waiting until a problem becomes impossible to ignore. The good news is, it's never too late to make positive changes. Even small improvements can make a significant difference. Try adding 15 minutes of walking to your daily routine. Try replacing one processed meal with fresh, whole foods. These small changes, when sustained, yield great benefits. Strength training, even just using light weights or resistance bands at home, can help maintain muscle, improve bone density, and prevent frailty. Make regular health checkups a priority. View them as an investment in your future. Taking care of your body isn't about avoiding aging. It's about ensuring you can keep doing the things you love, living an active and independent life for as long as possible. Physical health is the bedrock upon which all other aspects of life are built. The second major mistake, and perhaps one of the most heartbreaking, is isolating oneself from friends and family. This withdrawal often happens quietly. Maybe you start declining invitations to gatherings because you feel tired or uninterested. Maybe you make fewer phone calls, send fewer texts, or assume others are too busy to visit. Initially, this might seem harmless, even necessary for personal space. But over time, this isolation can silently lead to profound loneliness, depression, and even a rapid decline in both mental and physical health. Humans are inherently social creatures. Maintaining connections isn't merely about having company. It's fundamental to sustaining a sense of purpose, engagement with the world, and emotional stability. Many older adults mistakenly believe that loneliness is an unavoidable part of aging, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Scientific research has clearly shown that social isolation can be as detrimental to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, weakens the immune system, and has even been linked to a higher likelihood of developing dementia. Why? When the brain isn't regularly stimulated through conversations, shared experiences, and emotional connections, it begins to slow down, making memory loss and cognitive decline more likely. Consider the story of Dorothy, 76. She gradually stopped reaching out to her friends. She told herself they were probably too busy with their own families, and she didn't want to bother them. Weeks turned into months, and soon she found herself spending most of her days alone, with only the TV for company. She no longer felt like herself. Her energy dropped, her mood darkened, and she found it harder to motivate herself to do things she once enjoyed. But when she finally made the effort to reconnect, calling an old friend, joining a local book club, inviting her grandchildren over more often, her entire outlook changed. She felt more engaged, happier, and even noticed improvements in her memory and energy levels. Connection had relit the spark within her. Another mistake people often make is relying solely on family for social interaction. While family is incredibly important, expecting them to be the only source of companionship can sometimes lead to disappointment. Loved ones have their own responsibilities and lives, and it's essential to have a network of friends, neighbors, or community members to interact with. Having multiple sources of social interaction provides a richer, more fulfilling life and ensures you don't feel abandoned if family members are busy. Diversity in relationships brings different perspectives, different joys, and varied support. Technology has made staying in touch easier than ever, yet many seniors avoid it because they find it too complex or unfamiliar. However, embracing simple tools like video calls, social media on a basic level, or even voice messages can help maintain meaningful connections, especially when in-person visits aren't feasible. Learning to use these tools isn't about keeping up with trends. It's about ensuring you're not left behind in an increasingly digital world, so you can still see the smiles of distant grandchildren or chat with a dear friend in another city. The good news is, it's never too late to reconnect. Joining a club, volunteering, attending local events, or even just making a habit of calling a friend once a week can make a world of difference. The goal isn't to have a dizzyingly busy social calendar. It's to maintain meaningful connections that keep you mentally sharp, emotionally fulfilled, and engaged with the world around you. Don't let isolation silently erode your happiness and health. Proactively reach out, nurture relationships, and enjoy the richness that human connection brings. The third mistake, another subtle trap of old age, is refusing to adapt to change. The world is constantly evolving, but many people, as they get older, tend to resist change, whether it's new technology, lifestyle adjustments, or even shifting social norms. They cling tightly to the familiar, to the way they've always done things. This is understandable. Change can be uncomfortable, and after decades of living a certain way, it's easy to feel like you shouldn't have to learn anything new. But the reality is, refusing to adapt doesn't stop the world from changing. It just makes your own life more difficult, frustrating, and isolating. Many assume that new technology is only for the younger generations. But in today's world, staying connected and performing daily tasks often depends on being willing to learn. Whether it's using a smartphone, understanding online banking, or figuring out how to make a video call, these skills are no longer just conveniences. They are becoming essential. When seniors refuse to embrace even basic digital tools, they often find themselves left out of important conversations, struggling with daily tasks that could be simplified, or even more vulnerable to scams because they don't understand how the online world works. Consider the case of Albert, 78. He refused to use a smartphone, insisting his old flip phone was good enough. But over time, he realized his grandkids were communicating in group chats he couldn't participate in. His bank started requiring online access for certain services, and he missed out on countless conveniences that could have made his life easier. Eventually, he decided to give technology a chance. With a little patience, he learned how to text, use video calls, and even order groceries online. What started as a reluctant effort quickly became something that improved his life in ways he never expected. Another way people resist change is by clinging to outdated habits, even when better options are available. This could be as simple as refusing to adjust their diet to improve health, e.g., reducing salt, sugar, ignoring modern safety measures in the home, installing grab bars, removing tripping hazards like rugs, or even dismissing new medical advice because it differs from what they were told decades ago. The belief that this is how I've always done it can be dangerous, especially when better, safer, and more effective alternatives exist. This rigidity not only affects health, but also limits the ability to enjoy life fully. Change also occurs in relationships, and refusing to adapt can create distance between family members. Younger generations have different ways of communicating, different values, and different lifestyles. Instead of criticizing or resisting these differences, embracing them with an open mind can help strengthen relationships rather than push people away. Many seniors find that once they stop expecting things to be exactly as they used to be and start engaging with the world as it is, they feel more connected and less frustrated. Try listening more, asking curious questions instead of judging, and finding common ground. Adapting to change doesn't mean giving up who you are. It means being flexible enough to keep moving forward, to learn and grow. The world isn't going backward, and the more willing you are to learn, adapt, and grow, the more independent and fulfilled you'll be. It's never too late to embrace new ways of doing things, and the more open-minded you are, the more you'll find that change isn't something to fear. It's something that can bring unexpected joy and opportunity into your life. The fourth mistake, and one that can have the most devastating consequences is poor financial management. It's easy to assume that money matters less as you get older, especially if you're no longer working and have savings or retirement funds. But the truth is, financial mismanagement, whether it's overspending, underestimating future expenses, or failing to plan for emergencies, can quickly turn what should be comfortable years into a period of stress, struggle, and dependence on others. Many seniors fall into the trap of assuming they have enough money to last a lifetime, only to realize too late that rising medical bills, inflation eroding purchasing power, or other unexpected expenses, home repairs, car trouble, are depleting their savings faster than anticipated. It's not just about having money. It's about making sure that money lasts. Even those who are financially comfortable in their younger years can find themselves struggling if they don't adjust their spending habits to match their new life stage, with fixed incomes and changing needs. Consider the case of Richard, 72. He spent quite freely in retirement, believing he had saved enough to enjoy life without worry. He traveled, bought gifts for his grandchildren, and dined out regularly. But by his late 70s, he started noticing his savings were running low. Medical expenses began piling up, and he hadn't planned for potential long-term care costs. Faced with limited options, he had to rely on his children for financial support, something he never wanted to do. Had he been more mindful of his spending earlier on, he could have stretched his savings and maintained his financial independence. Another mistake seniors often make is failing to keep their financial plan updated. Many assume that once they retire, they no longer need to think about investments, budgeting, or financial adjustments. But managing money is a lifelong process, and even in old age, making smart financial decisions can make a huge difference in how comfortable and stress-free life is. Tracking expenses, understanding how much money is needed for healthcare, including costs not fully covered by insurance, and planning for the possibility of long-term care, in-home, assisted living, nursing home, can prevent financial hardship down the road. Reviewing wills, powers of attorney, and healthcare directives is also a crucial part of overall financial planning. Older adults are also prime targets for scammers, and one of the most heartbreaking ways people lose their financial security is by trusting the wrong people. Phone scams, email phishing, and even manipulative individuals posing as financial advisors can drain life savings in an instant. Many seniors were raised in a time when people were more trusting, and scammers exploit this. Learning to recognize financial scams, being wary of unsolicited calls/emails asking for personal info or gift cards, pressure to act quickly, avoiding vague offers, and having a trusted financial advisor or family member review major financial decisions can prevent devastating losses. The key to financial security in old age isn't about being wealthy. It's about being wise. Creating a clear and realistic budget, being mindful of unnecessary spending, and planning for future expenses can help ensure that your money lasts as long as you do. It's never too late to make adjustments, and even small financial changes now can mean the difference between peace of mind and financial stress later on. Finally, the fifth mistake, one often overlooked but incredibly damaging to quality of life, is ignoring mental growth and purpose. Many seniors fall into the mindset that once they retire, their time for learning, setting goals, or contributing to the world is over. They might feel they've completed their duties, and now it's just time to rest. But the truth is, having something meaningful to look forward to, whether it's a hobby, a passion, or a new challenge, is one of the most important factors in staying mentally sharp, emotionally fulfilled, and even physically healthy. A common issue is the belief that mental decline is inevitable. While aging does come with changes, the brain remains capable of learning, adapting, and forming new connections throughout life. The real danger isn't age itself, it's inactivity. When seniors stop engaging in mentally stimulating activities, the brain slows down. Studies have shown that those who continue learning, whether through reading, solving puzzles, learning a new language, or even acquiring new computer skills, are far less likely to experience cognitive decline. Keeping the brain active is just as important as keeping the body moving. Think about Linda, 70, who used to be an active and curious person. But after retiring, She found herself watching TV most of the day, feeling like her best years were behind her. Over time, she started forgetting things more often, lost interest in conversations, and felt less engaged with life. But then she decided to take an art class at a local community center, something she had never done before. Within weeks, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Her mind felt sharper, and she even made new friends in the process. Learning to paint had reawakened her inner curiosity and creativity. Another major mistake is failing to find a reason to get up in the morning. Many seniors spend decades working, raising families, and handling responsibilities, only to find themselves lost once those roles fade. Without a sense of purpose, boredom and depression can quickly set in. Having a reason to stay engaged, whether it's volunteering, mentoring younger generations, gardening, pursuing a personal project like writing a book or researching genealogy, creates structure, motivation, and fulfillment in daily life. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just needs to be meaningful to you. Some seniors avoid trying new things because they fear failure or believe it's too late. But the reality is, age has nothing to do with learning something new. Some of the most inspiring stories come from people who started new careers, learned new languages, or took up hobbies in their 70s, 80s, or even 90s. Growth doesn't stop when you reach a certain age. It stops when you decide to stop trying. Staying mentally active and having a sense of purpose doesn't just improve mood. It impacts longevity, cognitive function, and even physical health. People who continue challenging themselves, staying curious, and finding new ways to contribute to the world around them live happier, more fulfilling lives. No matter how old you are, your mind is still capable of growth, and your life still has meaning. The key is to keep looking forward, keep learning, and never let yourself believe that your best days are behind you. Now that we've covered these 5 mistakes, take a moment to reflect on which of these might be affecting your own life or the lives of those around you. Aging is not just about getting older. It's about making choices that determine whether your later years will be filled with joy, purpose, and independence, or frustration and regret. The good news is, avoiding these mistakes doesn't require drastic changes. Small adjustments in how you approach your health, relationships, mindset, and finances can make a significant difference in your overall well-being. If you've been neglecting your physical health, now is the time to prioritize movement, eat well, and stay on top of checkups. Every step, every nutritious meal is an investment in your future. If you've been isolating yourself, make an effort to reconnect with old friends, build new relationships, and embrace technology to stay engaged. A phone call, a coffee date, a shared class can reignite joy. If you've been resisting change, remind yourself that adapting doesn't mean losing who you are. It means giving yourself the tools to stay independent and connected in a rapidly changing world. Openness brings opportunity. If finances have been a concern, take proactive steps to ensure security, cut unnecessary spending, and protect yourself from financial pitfalls. Planning brings peace of mind. And if you've lost your sense of purpose, start small. Pick up a book, try something new, or find a way to contribute your wisdom and experience to the world around you. Purpose brings meaning. The choices you make today will shape the quality of your life in the years to come. It's never too late to take control, make better decisions, and ensure that your later years are some of your best years. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.